All right, let's get one thing straight right from the beginning. I don't sell how to grow on YouTube stuff. I don't work for YouTube. I don't have a deal with YouTube to create this video. What I do have is 18 years of experience as an online marketer and business owner who's generated close to $30 million in sales online. And what I want to show you today is unequivocal, unquestionable proof that YouTube isn't just the best platform for generating warm leads and sales into your business, but that it is the only platform that matters. So let's get into it. All right, so this video is completely unscripted. I just want to show you the data and give you my opinion based on that data. But the first thing that we need to discuss is how we as business owners need to think differently about content than everybody else. See, we are not content creators. We are business owners who use content in the same way that the business owners before us used direct mail or used ads in the back of newspapers, right? The only metric that really should matter to us is how many leads and sales did a particular piece of content generate. That's the measuring stick that we want to use when we're analyzing the data, and we're looking at where are the best platforms in order to be doing that, okay? And once we understand this, we understand that it all comes down to intention, and this idea of intention is really important. So what is the intention of the person who is coming onto a platform to consume content of any kind? And the easiest way to explain this is to kind of show you a 2-year study that Google conducted that they just released. It was like 1 billion different data points or something like that. But they analyzed the buying behavior of people online today. And what they determined was that people buy very differently online than they have when they were offline. Whereas when you were offline, you might go to a store, you might see an advertisement, and then you'd go to the store, or there was a lot of window shopping that happened and you might see something and go in. That's more of an offline style of buying. Online is very different. When we go online, what happens, and this is from Google's study, this is actually their design. They said there's a trigger event of some kind. And then once that trigger event happens, they go through a process of exploration and evaluation to determine what is the best product or best service for my particular need. So an easy way to explain this is I have a client of mine who works with women who are trying to get pregnant. And she helps them through a customized diet and supplement regimen to increase the likelihood that they're going to get pregnant. So this is both for people who are struggling and for people who might be going through IVF treatment. So in this case, the trigger event may be waking up one morning after you have had a miscarriage or after you've been trying for months and you said, enough is enough. There's got to be something else that I can do. Or it could be, hey, I'm getting ready to drop $20,000 on in vitro fertilization. Maybe I want to try and do something to increase the likelihood that I'm actually going to get pregnant, because many times it costs, $20,000 to $80,000. It's a lot of money to be putting down. So what they do is after the trigger event occurs is they go out and they start looking for solutions. And there may be a myriad of solutions and different providers offering to help them get pregnant. And they're going to go through this evaluation and exploration phase, and they're going to probably first settle on what type of treatment that they want. So do they want holistic? Do they want medication? Do they want, something different? And then once they settle on, hey, I want a holistic nutritional approach to this, then they're going to look at all the people who could potentially provide that. And they're going to look at their reputation and their brand and all of these things in order to kind of whittle down the options that they have. And they're going to continue to go through this exploration and evaluation stage until eventually they get to the provider that they want. And so we have to consider very first and foremost, what is the intention of the person who is coming to YouTube versus going to TikTok or to X or somewhere like that. And what's amazing about YouTube is that if we take a look at these diagrams here, I guess they're not diagrams, they're graphs, right? But most popular search engines in the United States, number one, of course, is Google. Google's always number one. But number two, coming in right behind that, is YouTube. Then number 3 is Amazon, a distant third, and then everything else is just significantly lower. What this tells us is that people are coming to YouTube to search for something. They're coming because they need knowledge, because they need reviews, because they need expertise, because they're looking for validation, or to qualify someone if they're looking to make a buying decision. They're using YouTube in the same way that they use Google. And this is true also if we look at people just over the course of the entire world. So again, Google is first, but again, almost the other 50% is YouTube. Now, this is real important for us if we're considering, hey, what is the intention of somebody who's coming? Because unlike other platforms, you're going to see people coming to YouTube when they're looking to make a buying decision, when they're looking for advice and counsel. For people in the coaching and consulting niche, which is who I primarily work with, this is critical for us because it gives us the ability to demonstrate authority. It gives us the ability to reach enough of a window of time of them watching our content to build the trust and the credibility that they need to feel comfortable doing business with us. It's very important because this doesn't happen in other places. But let's go one level deeper. And let's say, okay, I'm convinced that people are coming to YouTube and that they're not just coming there purely for entertainment or to doom scroll and be fed, right? They're coming there for specific reasons. But what type of people are coming there? That's important too, right? So this was a poll that was done by, I think it was Rasmussen. I can't remember who did this poll, but it was one of the major polling companies. And they took a look they polled a bunch of people and they said, hey, how many of you, based on age and gender and ethnicity and all these other different things, how many of you are on these certain platforms? Okay. And so this one is done by income. So we've got people with less than 30,000 to 70,000, and then so on. Well, for most of us, some of you might be interested in this lower group of people. For me, in my coaching business, I'm not particularly interested in anybody who's making less than $70,000 a year. But just if we look at that, doesn't really matter which one you look at. I want you to take a look. Facebook, of the people making over $70,000 a year, 73% of them say that they're on there, that they use the platform, and 70% of people over 100,000 say that they use the platform. It goes down with Instagram, it goes down with LinkedIn, it goes down with X. In fact, until you get down to YouTube, and then suddenly look at what happens. 87% of people making between $70,000 and $100,000 are on YouTube with intent. And 90% of people over $100,000 a year say that they use the platform regularly. Okay? This is important for us because it means people with money are there with intention. You getting what I'm saying? Let's take a look at another one. Let's take a look at age range, right? So for me in the coaching and consulting business, I'm not particularly concerned with 18 to 29-year-olds because they don't have a lot of money. My sweet spot is kind of right here between 30 and 49, or maybe in here. I have a few clients that tend to creep into sort of retirement age, but most of them are kind of right in the middle of their working years. Again, 78% of people say that in that range say they're on Facebook. It goes down from there until you get, again, down to YouTube. YouTube, 18 to 29, we've got 93. 94% of people in the sweet spot say that they're on YouTube regularly, and 86% in the 50 to 64 range say that they're on there. So not only do we have people showing up with intent to look for answers and to solve problems that they have, we also know that those people have money, and we also know that those people are in the age range that most of us who are selling online are selling to, right? We can look at another one. We can look at where are they located. So some of you guys are in more of an urban area, and that's kind of who you're looking for and selling to, or suburban or rural. Again, I'm not going to show you all these again. YouTube crushes all of them. And then finally, we scroll down here and we take a look at graduate. Are they graduates? Are they not high school graduates? A lot of times this is important, right? Again, YouTube crushes it. More people are on YouTube than anywhere else. YouTube is actually today the #1 streaming platform in the world, except for Disney, and they're about to beat Disney. So not only are people consuming more content on YouTube, but they're also showing up with intention, looking to solve pains and problems in their lives. This is perfect for us. Now, what I'm getting at with all of this is pretty simple. It doesn't matter what platform you are on. I would argue that it is almost certain that if they are on Instagram, if they are on X, if they are on any of these other platforms, that they are also on YouTube. The difference is in why they're coming to one platform over another. Like, I don't think anybody's coming to TikTok. So if we take a look at this and we take a look at time spent per day on different platforms, number one is TikTok. They have the algorithm that crushes and just keeps people hooked, right? But I think we can all agree that there is zero chance that your ideal prospect is showing up on Instagram with the intention to find a solution to a pain or a problem. They're just doom scrolling. TikTok. TikTok's nothing but just brain rot, right? Instagram's kind of the same way, only not quite as bad. But look, number two is YouTube, 48.7. And then Twitter goes down from there. Again, none of these other platforms are people really showing up with the intention to solve a problem. And then maybe the best reason to be creating on YouTube is if we take a look at this, this is the half-life of different platforms. So when you post a piece of content, what's the half-life before half of the views or half of the reads that you're going to get are gone? Well, Bing is number one. I'm not sure why Bing is in there because it's kind of a search engine. The second one is Pinterest. Some of you should definitely be on Pinterest as well. But the third one is Facebook. Is YouTube. And YouTube comes in at almost 10 days. So that means it takes 10 days of your content being online for it to reach its half-life. But that's just a portion of your content. See, I have videos on YouTube right now, like the one you're seeing on your screen, that have been generating me leads and sales for my business for the last almost 3 years. So the longevity that you get out of the content that you're creating for YouTube versus other platforms is significant. And if we look down here at Instagram, you've got Instagram's less than a day. If you look at Reddit, that's 2 hours. And if we look at things like X or Facebook, it's just a few minutes. It's a couple of hours at the most. The major obstacle that I get from people and the major objection that I get when I start talking about creating content for YouTube is, well, it takes a lot of time. It's difficult. It's a skill that you have to learn how to master, getting comfortable talking on camera like I am now, editing the videos, deciding what to shoot and B-roll and all of these different things. And they say, I got to script the video and make it and all these things. And the point that I'm getting at is, it's when you consider that everything that you do for YouTube can easily be repurposed somewhere else, it's not as difficult as you think. So what I tell my clients is we always start out with a script. I know I'm doing this unscripted, but normally I'd have a script written out and I record the video, edit the video. And once that's done, I can easily turn that script into a blog article. I can easily turn it into a LinkedIn post. They even have AI software that will do like 90% of that work for you. I can send it to a video editor and have them cut it up into shorts, or I could do it myself and I can post those on Instagram or LinkedIn or X or wherever you want to do it. But the primary platform for those of us looking to monetize content and not monetize it for our companies is to be putting time and effort and energy into YouTube. And so I have no ulterior motive to do this video other than to help show you some of the reasons why I think you should be using this platform more. It's why I have put all of my marketing efforts this year into YouTube, into creating content, because after measuring 2 years of content online, what I determined is the bulk of the leads, the bulk of the sales that I could track back to a social media post came from YouTube. So I want to encourage you to get out there and really learn to master this platform and really work to try and create the kind of content that people are going to be searching for so that you can show up and get above the noise and start closing more sales, getting more leads, and hopefully showcasing to the world that you are not just the best choice, but you are the only clear choice when it comes to solving the types of problems that you solve for your clients. So thanks for watching. Take it easy.